So now we are on live, so we can start the session now.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yoga is an invaluable gift of ancient Indian tradition. It includes unity of mind, body, thoughts, and action, harmony between the man and nature, and holistic approach to health and well-being. Yoga is not just about the exercise, but to discover the sense of oneness with ourselves, the world, and nature. By changing our lifestyle and creating consciousness, it can help us to deal with the climate change. Let us work toward adopting yoga. So, very good evening, one and all, my dear students and teachers. On behalf of Department of Statistics, Hindi Vidya Pachas Samitis, Ram Niranjan Jhunjhunwala College, I, Rahul Tiwari, welcome you all for today's guest lecture on yoga, mind power, and success. I would like to extend a warm welcome Director of Hindi Vidya Pachas Samitis, Dr. Usha Mukundan, Principal Dr. Himanshu Davda, Vice Principal Praveen Nayak, Dr. Sneha Devashkar, Dr. Kiran Kolvankar sir in absentia. I would like to request Head Department of Statistics, Ms. Chaya Pinge, say a few words. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Rahul sir. Good evening to all. College is a very important stepping stone in our life, and it is full of youth and enjoyment and excitement, togetherness with friends. But at the same time, it is full of hard work, efforts, struggle, responsibilities, peer pressure, pressure of social media, studies, competitions, online, offline lectures, extracurricular, co-curricular activities, exams, and practicals and online submissions. And so it is full of stress, struggle, depression, anxiety, lack of peace, lack of exercise due to lack of time, sleepless nights, and overall lack of good health. Yoga is one way that everyone finds a solution to overcome problems associated with body and mind. And today we have very special guest to explain how yoga helps us to improve our mind power and hence to take a path towards success. On behalf of Hindi Vidya Prachar Samitis, Ram Niranjan Jhunjhunwala College Autonomous, I welcome our today's guest speaker, Mr. Kartik Vyas. Welcome, sir. I also welcome all the participants for today's session, and I'm sure all of you will get benefited from sir's thoughts, views, and knowledge. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us. Over to Rahul, sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for your kind word and support. One information for the students. Students, be ready with your videos. We're going to ask for the videos to start for the photo sessions. Okay. So now I request Vaishnavi to introduce today's guest. Vaishnavi, over to you.
Yes, sir.
Of peace, lack of exercise due to lack of time, sleepless.
Shall I start, sir? Okay.
Yeah. You can.
Okay, sir. Okay. Good evening to one and all present here. Myself, Vaishnavi Singh from TYPSC. I am extremely honored and privileged for getting an opportunity to welcome our today's guest speaker, Mr. Kartik Vyas, sir. Currently, sir is a CEO of Potentials Unlimited Coaching and Training International. Sir is an internationally certified high performance coach. Also, sir is an author and a corporate trainer. And sir is an NLP trainer, a speaker, and a yoga psychology mentor. We know that yoga reduces stress, It lowers our blood pressure. And also, it's rightly said that yoga is not a religion, it's a way of living whose aim is a healthy mind in a healthy body. But today, let's learn more on yoga from our guest speaker. Sir, we are eagerly waiting to listen more on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaishnavi.
Yeah, thank you, Vaishnavi. Uh, Now, I think it's time for have one photo session. So I request all students, you can start your video so that we can take one pic and then we can begin our wonderful session conducted by Kartik sir. Be quick, students. Madam, will you just stop sharing? Yeah, thank you. Very late, students. Welcome to Dr. Vaishnavi Patil, madam.
Also welcome Vilasini Patkar, Dr. Vilasini Patkar.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining the
Hello.
session, madam.
Yeah,
Yes,
all
thank you
the
so much.
best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Suraj sir, will you also take the session photos? I have taken one to screenshot. Just a few seconds, just a few seconds. Yeah. Thank you.
That is all.
Yes. Thank you.
you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, forum is open for you.
Right. Thank you. Right. All the faculties and the college authorities that are there, Chaya ji, Rahul, and dear students. A US Supreme Court Chief Justice, Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes, once said something very profound. He said, "What lies behind us and what lies in front of us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." What is it that Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes is really implying? What lies behind us? Our past. What lies in front of us? Our future. Both of these are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. And when Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes is saying what lies within us, what is it that he's really referring to? Would some of you like to type in the chat box? What do you think Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes is referring to when he says what lies within us? What, according to you, is he hinting at? If you want to unmute and answer, you could do that, or you can type in the chat box. What lies within us? Our
Chaos
inner
of thoughts.
chaos of thoughts, right? You can put the message to everyone, not just me, so that everyone can read the messages. Yeah. So chaos of thoughts is one answer. Our inner peace is another answer. What about the others? What is it that lies within us? What is this within us that Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes is referring to? We will say what lies within us can be so many different things to different people. For you, what is it? What lies within you? It would be great if we can have a little interaction rather than a one-way process. Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
can, yeah, I can keep talking, but if some of you can put your videos on, that would be lovely because then I am talking to real people rather than, yeah, a blank screen full of photos. Yeah, so Sharmila says consciousness, conflict, awakening. Wow. Devashya says by being in the present, we can be truly ourselves. Wonderful. And of course, earlier Akash said our inner peace. Super. Any other answers? What is it? What lies within us? So if we go into this inner world of ours, if Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes is saying neither our past nor our future is as important to this that lies within us, one of those things that he is hinting at is the capacities that we have, the powers that we have, the potential that we have. All of this is lying within us, our capabilities. So if I were to ask you if what lies within us is our own potential, our own capabilities, how much of our inner potential do you think we are using? And let us say for the purpose of this question that we are all born with 100% potential. We are all born with 100% potential to be whoever we wish to be, to do whatever we wish to do, and to achieve whatever we wish to achieve. If that potential is 100%, how much of our potential are we really using out of 100%? I would like you to type in your answers in the chat box. Type in a number. How much of our potential, how much of your potential do you think you are using? Or how much of the potential do you think a normal, useful, productive individual is using? Will you please type in your answers in the chat box? A number out of 100%, how much? Yeah, and remember, this is not an exam, so I'm not going to shoot you if you give one answer and praise you if you give another answer. Yeah, all right, 60% is one answer that I've got. Come on, come on. Yeah, 40%. Excellent. Keep the answers coming. 10% for an average being, 50%, 5%. 65% was another answer. Okay. What about the others? Yeah, let's say a normal, useful, productive individual uses how much of his or her inborn talents, capacity, and potential? Yeah, 22%. I like that 22. So very precise. Yeah, 70%, 45%, 25%.
They are
Keep them rolling.
statisticians.
Yeah, okay. Right. So keep your answers rolling. Let's see. Yeah, the lowest I have got so far is 5%. And the
5%.
maximum I have got so far is 70%. Yeah, Sunil Jaiswal 11%. I mean, Sunil says 11%. Shilpa 40%. Shravan 50%. Okay. Okay, 35%. Hmm. Interesting. Okay, by the way, madam, we started a little late. So up to what time do I go on?
Sir, overall, we can get a session of 1 hour.
Okay. So
In,
around 5:30, 5:35, I can stop for Q&A.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we have
yes,
about
yes,
10 minutes or 5 minutes, 10 minutes of Q&A at the end. And 5:45, I will stop in that case. Is that fine?
yes, yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's see what is it that experts have said at different points in time. Would you like to know how much of our inborn talents, capacities, and potential are we really using? How many of you would really like to know? If you would really like to know, just type in I or me, which means that you want to know.
Yes.
Yeah, or you can raise your hand. Yeah, that's also a good thing. Or you can give me a thumbs up reaction. Give me a thumbs up reaction, or you can raise your hand. Okay, all right. So since quite a few of you would like to know that, let's go into this. In 1902, William James, a psychologist and a philosopher, said that a normal, useful, productive individual uses. By the way, are is everyone here normal in this class, in this program? Yeah, I hope so.
Yes.
Yeah, are all of us useful? Yeah, I hope so. And are all of us productive?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
What does it mean to be productive? What have you produced? And I'm not meaning children or any such thing, by the way. Yeah, productive means to produce, and to produce means to bring into this world something that did not exist before you produced it. Yeah, so as students, we produce answers, isn't it, in question papers and so on and so forth. Yeah. Okay, but let's continue. What is it that more than 118 years back, or almost 120 years back, William James, a psychologist and a philosopher, said that a normal, useful, productive individual uses 10% of his or her inborn potential and capacities. 10%, 10%. 62 years later, Margaret Mead, an anthropologist. Who's an anthropologist? Someone who studies the evolution of the human race, how
Yes.
humans have evolved over the millennia, thousands of years. She was a brilliant researcher and an anthropologist, and also a Nobel Prize winner. And therefore, what Margaret Mead is saying 62 years after William James is important to us. And in 1964, Margaret Mead said that William James was only partly correct. A normal, useful, productive individual does not use 10%, but uses only 6% of his or her inborn talent, capacity, and potential. Shall I go further?
Please. Yes.
1976, Herbert Otto. Herbert Otto was also a psychologist, and he was an associate and a disciple of one of the most renowned and respected psychologists of all time. His mentor was Dr. Abraham Maslow. So in 1976, Dr. Herbert Otto is saying that both William James and Margaret Mead were only partly correct. A normal, useful, productive individual does not use 10%, does not use 6%, but uses only 4% of his or her inborn talent, capacity, and potential. ये तो अभी फिगर नीचे जा रहा है statistically. Yeah, shall I go further?
Yes. Please, sir.
Yeah, so hold your hearts. 1977, Dr. Ramamurthy. Who was Dr. Ramamurthy? Dr. Ramamurthy started the first center for the study of the human brain in India, Madras Medical College. In those days, it was called Madras. Today is, of course, Chennai. And he started the first center for neurosurgery, surgery on the human brain in India, Madras Medical Hospital. And in 1977, Dr. Ramamurthy, in an interview that was published in the Times of India, said that a normal, in fact, he said something still profound. He said that I have performed autopsies on more than 10,000 human brains. When is an autopsy carried out? After the death of a person. And Dr. Ramamurthy is talking of autopsies that he has carried out on which part? The brain. Whose brains? Human brains, not monkey brains, not dog brains, not rat brains, human brains. My autopsies on more than how many? 10,000. Yeah, you are all statistics students, no? So I'm giving you all these figures. My autopsies on more than 10,000 human brains reveals that all of these people who led normal, useful, productive lives in their entire lifetime put together, in their entire lifetime put together, they have activated and used. By the way, where is our potential? Where is the potential located? In the
Brain
little,
or mind.
the brain. Excellent, Sharmila. Thank you for the answer. Yeah. So if the brain is the location of our potential, Dr. Ramurthy, who started the first center for neuroscience and neurosurgery in India, is saying, and he is therefore well qualified because he's actually carried out autopsies. He's opened up dead human brains, not live human brains, and said that my autopsies have revealed that all of these people who led normal, useful, productive lives, they have activated and used of all the brain cells available for use. Incidentally, we have how many brain cells available for use? And a recent neuroscience research tells us that we have 134 billion brain cells. 134 billion brain cells in one individual brain. One way of understanding this figure 134 billion, and don't ask me how many zeros. Yeah, I hated in school, I hated arithmetic. In high school, I hated math. I made the mistake of taking up commerce, and in my final year TY BCom, 3 months before my final year BCom exam, I realized I hated accounts also. Yeah, and it put me in a fix. But that's another story. We don't have time for it. Maybe some other day. But coming back, yeah, what is Dr. Ramamurthy saying? That my autopsies on more than 10,000 human brains has revealed that these 134 billion brain cells, if I were to take out all the brain cells out of Jay's brain. Yeah, and thank you, Jay, for keeping your camera on. Yeah, by the way, Jay is also my son's name. So, and I like to see a smiling face. So, yeah, if some of you can also put on your cameras, videos, and let me see your faces, then I feel I'll be talking to live human brains. Yeah, don't feel shy. Yeah, thank you, Chinmay, for doing that. Good job. Yeah. So if we were to take out all these brains out of Chinmay's head or Jay's head or Sharmila's head or Sunil's head or Pankaj's head or Satyam's head or Rohit's head or Saurav's heads or Vaishali's head, yeah, at least those of you who have called your names, put on your videos. Yeah. इतना मस्का लगाना पड़ता है क्या वीडियो ऑन करने के लिए. So if I were to take out all the brain cells out of any one brain, yeah, and put them in one line next to each other, these line of brain cells will go right up to the moon and come back. Yeah, that much is the power and potential that is packed in one human brain. 134 billion brain cells. And Dr. Ramurthy is saying, in which year? 1977. I think most of you are not born in 1977. He's saying that of all these 134 billion brain cells that we have, a normal, useful, productive individual has activated how many? Has activated only 1% of the brain cells available for use. OMG. Yeah, by the way, that means oh my God. From 10, it went down to 6. From 6, it went to 4. And from 4, it has now come to 1. And that was also 1977. आगे बढ़ूं? 1977 से आगे बढ़ूं? हाँ या ना? नहीं.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because 1977 is still the 20th century and we are 22 years into the 21st century. आगे बढ़ता हूँ, हाँ, दिल थाम के. 1994, Stanford Research Institute. Heard the name of Stanford? Harvard, Stanford, Oxford, Cambridge. These are some of these world famous universities. 1994, Stanford Research Institute published this finding in which they said more than 95% of people, more than 95%, yeah, which means out of 100 or out of 10, 9.5. So we are not even 50 over here. So out of 50, it means how much? 9.5 ka आधा. What, 4.75? Is my arithmetic correct? Yeah. So 4.75 out of 5 of us over here, or out of 50 of us over here, are using, according to the 1994 Stanford Research Institute research, they said that 95% of people on this earth are using much, much less than even, batao, much, much less than even 2% of their inborn talents, capacities, and potential. Much, much less than 2. दो उंगली मैं नहीं दिखा सकता हूं, because it is much, much less than 2. And those who use anywhere from 7, 8 to 14, 15% of their inborn talent, capacity, and potential, we call such people geniuses. Tell me the name of one all-time world famous genius.
Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein. हाँ, शहर को Albert Einstein का ही नाम देता है. And do you know, according to the Stanford Research Institute, even a genius like Einstein had used not more than 14-15% of his inborn talents, capacities, and potential. But that was 1994. अभी भी 20वीं सदी में हमको जीना है या 21वीं सदी में जिए? Shall we come to the 21st century or not?
Sir, I'm worried now whether I'm using my brain or not.
If you are vertical, you are using. If you are horizontal, you are not using. समझ में आ गए ना? And permanent horizontal position जिंदगी में एक ही बार होती है. Right? So
that's why I sleep less.
Good job. 2003. By the way, where is our brain? Jay, तुम ही जवाब दे दो. You only answer. Where is our brain?
Sir, in our head.
In our head, right? We think that the brain is over here. Unfortunately, Jay, your knowledge is 20वीं सदी का outdated knowledge. In 2003, science, neuroscience, the science that studies the human brain, has proven that we have 3 brains.
Yeah, twin legs, I guess.
What is that?
The twin legs, na, I guess. I don't know.
No.
Hind brain, and something.
Oh, all those you are talking of the brain in the head that is divided into 3 parts and all of that. No. That all of that is one brain. Yeah, when neuroscience is saying we have 3 brains, they said The brain in the head, brain in the heart, and a brain in the gut. Yeah, gut is the entire abdominal region. The center point of it is the navel. And they have found that what they thought were cells that were found only in the brain in the head are actually also found in the brain in the heart as well as in the gut. And in 2003, a Dr. Robert Cooper, who specializes in taking the latest findings of neuroscience and bringing it into the corporate world and creating training programs around neuroscience, the latest neuroscience research, tells us in 2003 that we use 1 out of 10,000 of our total brain power. 1 out of 10,000 is what percentage? If you are statistics
0.0.
students, yeah, yeah, tell me with all the zeros.
0.001.
Yeah, 0.0001.
01. Yes.
Yeah, अभी 0.001 कहो या 01 कहो, it is more or less the same. In other words, my young friends, we are born, and at the age that you are at, maybe around 20 or less, we are all born with 134 billion brain cells. And out of every 10,000 brain cells, that's our brain power or mind power, if you want to call it, has so much. And in a lifetime, we are ending up using a teeny weeny itsy bitsy polka bit. Or हम लोग, we think that what getting 80% and 90% and even 99% is a big achievement. Yeah, becoming eventually a millionaire is a big achievement. But and that is where what does success really mean is what we will see right towards the end of our session today. The point is that we have this humongous capacity, huge capacity. This capacity are like the dormant powers that are waiting to be tapped. So how do we tap this brain power or mind power of ours? Because of all the different dimensions in our personality, the body, the physical, the mind, the psychological, the spirit, the spiritual, the soul, and the social dimension, the mind is perhaps the most powerful dimension of our personality. And the mind itself, as modern psychology tells us, operates at 2 levels, the conscious and the subconscious. So why is it that there was no subject and no teacher in school or college that tells us, that teaches us how to train our mind? Why is it that we don't train our mind? Why don't we enhance our own ability to use its massive 134 billion brain cells capacity? How can we tap this deepest potential that is available to be tapped? Are there methods and techniques that can help us to unlock the minds and the brain's capacities? Yes or no? What are those methods and techniques you know that help to unlock the mind's capacities? How can we unleash the awesome powers of our own mind? What is that system? What is that method? And thousands of years back in India, the system that they created is today popularly called YOGA, yoga. The oldest text of yoga, which is 2,500 years old, it is called Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. There, right at the very beginning, Patanjali tells us what is yoga, and he tells us very clearly that the system and the science of yoga is to help us master our mind, not just discover, not just train, but master the mind. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha is what he said in Sanskrit. Yoga, what is yoga? Chitta. Chitta, loosely we can call it mind. Vritti, the thoughts in the mind. Nirodha, arrest, mastery. Yoga is a science, is a system that allows us to completely master our thoughts, our thinking, the very working and the very activity of the mind. Very boldly, very powerfully. If this is really what yoga is all about, unfortunately, we are hardly taught this kind of yoga and this type of yoga. So if yoga is to help us master our own mind, and if mastering the mind means that I can unleash the awesome and tremendous powers that are there, we then must realize that compared to what we ought to be, we are only partially awake. We are not fully awake. We are making use of only a small part of our physical and mental resources. And we all, each and every one of us over here, we all possess powers of various sorts which we habitually fail to use. William James is the one who said this also. We possess powers of various sorts which we habitually fail to use. William James, by the way, was a physician, a philosopher, and a psychologist. So therefore, this mind that we talk about and this power of the mind, the conscious mind, is like the tip of the iceberg. Do you know how much of this tip of the iceberg we can see? They say we see only 1/10 of an iceberg that is visible. This huge mountain of ice in the Arctic Ocean or Antarctic Ocean. What we see is only 1/10. 90% of it is below the surface. This tip of the iceberg is our conscious mind. That what we use. And of that conscious mind, which is 1/10, we use maybe just a small little bit in our academic studies and to pass our exams and to study and whatnot. 90% of this power of the human mind is at the subconscious level, like this iceberg below the surface of the ocean. We cannot see it. So if, therefore, training our mind is the way for us to access the hidden powers, and if yoga is the way, yoga is the system to do it, do you think it is easy for us to train our mind? Do you think it is easy to train, especially the subconscious mind? And that is what yoga is all about, training the mind, not only the conscious mind, but also influencing, training, and mastering the subconscious mind also. Therefore, nothing affects us, each one of us individually, more than our own mind and our own thoughts. Nothing affects us more than our own mind and our own thoughts. So the $1 million question is, Are we ready to train our mind? Is it going to be easy, or do you think it is difficult to train the mind? It is definitely a challenge, but it is possible. And to train the mind, it will take some of the best qualities that are again lying dormant in each one of us. We will need to have this determination. We will need to have this perseverance, and we will need patience. We will need to use some tools, some techniques, and we should be ready for failure as well as success. How do we therefore master our mind? It is said that if a if a warrior conquers 1,000 other warriors in battle, and if another person conquers himself or herself, the one who conquers himself or herself is a greater conqueror than the warrior on the battlefield. And therefore, controlling the mind is the most challenging task in this world. Training the mind to unleash its powers is perhaps the most rewarding thing we can ever do in this lifetime. So we must recognize that there are consequences if we have little or no control or on our mind. There are consequences. Just as there are tremendous advantages if we can train and control and channelize the powers of our own mind. Think for yourself, what could be those advantages? There is a saying in Sanskrit, translated in English, it means they ask a question, who conquers the world? And the answer is the one who conquers the mind is the one who conquers the world. And therefore, whatever the human mind can conceive, can think, can imagine, can visualize, whatever the human mind can conceive, whatever the human mind can believe, the human mind can achieve. And yoga is the system to help us achieve, to help us conceive, to help us believe, and to help us unleash its powers and capacities. So what does yoga tell us about the human mind? And how many kinds of minds are there on this earth? Of all the geniuses and all the great men and women who have walked on this earth, who are living on earth, and all the future geniuses that are yet to be born, as well as perhaps the potential geniuses who are so shy that they don't want to put on their videos even now. How many types of minds are there in this world? According to yoga, there are only 5 types of minds. Every human being on earth, whether it is the richest man on earth. These days, by the way, who is the richest man on earth? I don't think Bill Gates is anymore the richest man.
Elon Bezos.
Jeff Bezos.
Elon Musk.
Pardon? Elon Musk. Okay, right? Whether it is the richest man on the earth or a beggar on the street. Yeah, whether it is the most powerful man on earth. By the way, who is the most powerful man on earth?
Putin.
Until now, it was believed, until 4 years back, that the most powerful man on earth is the President of the United States of America. Until 4 years back. But 4 years back, this US president destroyed that belief altogether. But anyway, or it is the most powerless human being on earth. Whether it is a genius or whether it is a fool on the street. Only 5 types of minds. Without going into the Sanskrit, would you like me to describe a little bit about each of these 5 types of mind?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, right. So starting from the lowest kind of mind, let's call it a mind that is a very, very impulsive kind of a mind, a very restless kind of a mind, a very agitated kind of a mind that is only interested in short term, in immediate gain. क्या फायदा होगा, अभी क्या फायदा होगा, आगे की मारो गोली. This is a mind that wants power, that will chase power, but cannot commit on a long-term basis. Its attention span is very short-term, is very limited, is very narrow, is very small. And it always looks for immediate gain. It is also very, very selfish. Self-khudgarz. It is interested only मेरा क्या फायदा है, मुझे कितना मिलेगा, मुझे क्या मिलेगा, तो मैं करूं. और
Like our student, sir. सर इतना पढ़ा तो कितना मार्क्स मिलेगा.
हाँ. And a very, very restless, unstable kind of a mind. This mind, unfortunately, is not a mind that is going to gain much in life. As compared to this kind of personality and mind, there is another kind of a mind that is confused about its own potential, its own capacities, about what is in its own good, what is for its good, what is not in its better interests. It is confused about its priorities in life, what is important in life, what is not important in life. It is confused. It has mixed priorities. As a student, it is not even very clear that my priority as a student is studies. At different stages in life, what are my really important priorities in life? And often people who are not clear about their priorities in life end up having all kinds of problems in life and not even then knowing how to solve these problems. This is a mind that can also be very lethargic, can be very lazy. It wants pleasure. For it, anything that gives its pleasure, it will be interested in it. But it is also therefore dull and confused about, as I said, its important priorities in life, and therefore is unable to focus on those priorities because those priorities are itself lopsided and mixed. That's the second kind of mind. The first mind, restless, impulsive. The second kind of mind, confused about its priorities in life. The third kind of mind, occasionally steady, but most of the time unsteady. Occasionally steady, but most of the time disturbed. Let's call it the distracted mind. Yeah. The restless mind, the confused mind, the distracted mind. When this distracted mind is occasionally steady, it will focus, it will grasp, it will understand, it will solve problems, it will realize its mistakes, it will find answers, it will be creative. But unfortunately, it loses this clarity very quickly because it is distracted. It gets distracted by this, that, and the other. Sometimes the pleasure-seeking tendencies or the power-seeking tendencies of the lower two kinds of minds. And therefore, it will always have this tug of war. Most of the time disturbed, occasionally calm. Yoga says none of these three minds are, according to yoga, the normal mind. Unfortunately, we are all disqualified. Why? Because according to yoga, the normal mind is a mind that is focused, concentrated, focused, so intensely focused and concentrated that it becomes eventually one pointed. Ekagra. Remember the story of in the Mahabharata of the Pandavas and the Kauravas and their guru teaching them archery and tells each of the princes aim and tell me when you aim what can you see, yeah, and
Aiming birds.
yeah, I can see the clouds and I can see the sky and I can see the birds and I can see the trees and I can see so many leaves and I can see the branch. And ultimately, when Arjun is asked, what do you see? He says, I can see only the pupil of the eye. And to him, Dronacharya says, shoot. And when Arjuna shoots, the arrow hits its mark. This story is an example of a one-pointed mind. But even this one-pointed mind, years later on the battlefield, Arjuna also had his own problems. But this one-pointed mind is the mind that can, according to yoga, unleash all the dormant powers and capacities that are lying untapped in our subconscious. And this entire system of yoga is designed to activate these powers of the subconscious mind and make the mind one pointed. What is the key? The key is to become focused in life. Concentration is the technique. Concentration is the key. Even neuroscience today recognizes this and tells us that whatever we focus on grows. And they have found evidence in the human brain for it. Whatever we focus on, if we concentrate on becoming focused and concentrated, the brain will develop in those areas that are dealing with focus and concentration. But if we are confused, then these areas do not grow and develop in the human brain. But remember, I said that yoga says there are only 5 levels or 5 types of minds. We have seen only 4. The restless, then the confused, then the distracted, then the one-pointed. Right on top, want to know which is this mind? I have already given you the hint earlier. And right on top is a mind that is completely mastered. जब ऐसा होता है तब आप और मैं हो जाएंगे योगी और आप बोलोगे योगी यहाँ किसको होना है, किसी को नहीं होना है, लेकिन कम से कम वन पॉइंटेड तो हो सकते हैं, फोकस तो हो सकते हैं, कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड तो हो सकते हैं, एकाग्र तो हो सकते हैं, because that is the direct, the fastest way to help us unleash the powers of the human mind. Beyond that is a mind that is completely mastered. So if this is the purpose and objective of yoga, to help us train the mind so that initially it becomes focused, and before that steady, stable, calm, then concentrated, and hopefully eventually one pointed. Then it becomes a chitta that is called ekagra, one pointed. That is the mind that will unleash these dormant powers that are lying hidden within each one of us. Are we wanting to grow, train, evolve our mind so that it becomes one pointed? Because this is real success. Which therefore brings me to this question. We have seen what is yoga. Yoga is to help us master our mind. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. When we train the mind to become concentrated, one pointed, go to the second level of the mind, we will unleash those powers that are lying in those untapped 134 billion brain cells that we have. And if the entire science and system of yoga is designed to train our mind to become one-pointed, will we achieve success or not? And what does really success also mean? What will be your definition of success? Can we have our definition of success? So for the next 3-4 minutes, let's talk about success and then open up to Q&A if you have any questions. So before we understand success, let me ask you a series of questions. And let's start with, most of the time we equate success with what? Success means जिसके पास सबसे ज्यादा क्या है वो
ऐसा है।
सक्सेसफुल है, सबसे ज्यादा क्या है, fill in the blank.
Money.
हाँ, सबसे ज्यादा पैसा है, तो आपने बोला जेफ बीजोस, हाँ, कितने साल की शादी के बाद डिवोर्स हो गया? Do you think in the closest of closest relationship, which is supposed to be with your own spouse, with your own wife, do you think in his relationship he is successful?
No, he is not.
So what does success really mean? Is success therefore only money? अरे बिल गेट्स का भी देखो, सेम हालत.
For divorce.
हाँ. So is success equal to money and then failed relationship? अपनी सबसे क्लोज रिलेशनशिप को आप नहीं निभा सकते हो तो क्या निभाओगे, किसको निभाओगे? ओके, चलो आपका डिवोर्स नहीं है, यू आर अ मिलियनेयर ऑल्सो, और आपकी एक ही बीवी है, एंड यू और हस्बैंड है फॉर दैट मैटर. लेकिन यू हैव आपका दिल टूट गया है, मतलब यू हैव अ हार्ट प्रॉब्लम. आपको 2 बार कोरोना भी हो चुका है और अभी आपके लंग्स भी चले गए हैं. आप बोलते हो कोई बात नहीं, मेरे पास पैसा बहुत है ना, दिल को भी बदल दूंगा, लंग्स को भी बदल दूंगा. और आपके पास, आपको डायबिटीज भी है, मतलब all the organs are affected, and you say कोई बात नहीं, पैसा बहुत है ना, सब कुछ बदल डालूंगा, चलेगा? Would you call yourself successful?
No.
No.
In health you are broken. और आपकी उम्र अभी शायद 40 की भी नहीं हुई, लेकिन पैसा बहुत बनाया. अच्छा चलो, पैसा भी है, सेहत भी है, बीवी बच्चे भी है, लेकिन टेंशन है, स्ट्रेस है, एंजाइटी है, फ्रस्ट्रेशन है. बच्चे बोलते हैं पागल हो पैसों के पीछे, बीवी भी बोलती है या हस्बैंड भी बोलते हैं आप तो आधे पागल हो. पैसा बहुत है लेकिन टेंशन है, स्ट्रेस है, एंजाइटी है, बीपी है, पैसे की चिंता है. Would you call yourself successful?
No.
No.
So my
sir,
dear young
what is the
friend,
solution, sir? What is the solution?
Do yoga, sir.
So yoga is the solution.
अभी 45 मिनट में सब
Of course.
कुछ चाहिए क्या? और वो भी फुकट में. हाँ, फिर मेरे घर पर बीवी बच्चों का रोजी रोटी पेट का पालन कैसे होगा?
सर देखिए सर, आपको भी टेंशन है थोड़ा बहुत.
अरे गीत गाता हूँ मैं, मुस्कुराता हूँ मैं, मैंने हंसने का वादा किया था कभी, इसलिए अब सदा मुस्कुराता हूँ मैं.
Very nice, sir.
Yes. Satisfaction is important, I think.
हाँ, अरे क्या बात है, किसने बोला सेटिस्फैक्शन इज इम्पोर्टेंट? बोला क्या?
योग मैडम.
एक रियल लाइफ घटना सुनाता हूँ आपको. रियल लाइफ बोलते क्या,
Yes, sir, yes.
शपथ. बीच में जब कोरोना एकदम शांत हो चुका था, तब हम लोग नवंबर की बात है, महाबलेश्वर गए थे और महाबलेश्वर हफ्ते 10 दिन की छुट्टी के लिए फैमिली के साथ, हाँ, मेरी पहली बीवी के साथ। एक ही है बाबा अभी तक।
सर दीदी बोलिए।
अच्छा, एंड वहां पर हम लोग एक स्पॉट से निकल रहे थे और एक आदमी आया और हमारे साथ चलने लगा और मुझे कहता है, साहब सेंचुरी मारना तुम ही। ऐसा, अरे आई सेड, मैंने पूछा सेंचुरी मतलब? इसे नहीं साहब आप 100 जियोगे। आई सेड नहीं 100 नहीं, 90 तक का तो टारगेट है। नहीं आप सेंचुरी मारोगे, हाँ, और आप स्वावलंबी होगे, किसी के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट नहीं होगे। ऐसे क्या फायदा वैसे है 100 साल जीने का अगर पैर काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, दिल काम नहीं कर रहा है, दिमाग काम नहीं कर रहा है। तो नहीं साहब आपका ऐसा नहीं होगा। ऐसा अच्छा बोलता है, और साहब आपने अब तक जो कुछ भी किया है सेटिस्फैक्शन के लिए किया है, हाँ, करोड़ रुपए नहीं है आपके पास। ऐसे अरे कैसे ये सब पता चला? ही इज जस्ट सीइंग माय फेस एंड ही इज सेइंग ऑल ऑफ दिस। अब whatever he said about me, about my wife and about our daughter, every single thing was 100% correct. कुछ चीजें फ्यूचर के बारे में भी बताई, but anyway the point is, what are these powers that people are born with and we have not even scratched the surface? Statistics पढ़ते रहते हैं sorry, मैं जैसे बीकॉम पढ़ता रहा एंड 10 साल के बाद आई रियलाइज कि आई हेट अकाउंटिंग, and at the age of 30 I gave up my career and I changed all of that and I came into the area of teaching and training, and now of course I coach CEOs and CXOs. So what is your definition of success is important, and to me real success is a balance of optimum health, peace of mind, excellent relationships, fulfillment in my career and life, and close intimate relationships and spiritual growth. It is an integration of the body, mind, the relationships, financial, money, and the spiritual dimensions of life. To me, that is real success. And this is the kind of integrated, lasting success, if we train our mind, is possible. And to train the mind, there is no better, no powerful system than this system of yoga that I have been practicing now for 41 years and now training teachers in. And that is why yoga is the secret to activating our mind power so that we achieve lasting success in life. If you have any questions, maybe 5 minutes or so, we can have some questions and answers. Yeah, if you have a question, I suggest that you raise your hand and I will request you to unmute yourself so that there is no chaos. So, any questions? Yes, Sharmila, you can unmute.
Sir, what is the role of unconscious mind in our life?
Maro goli. Unconscious is unconscious. At least let us start using our conscious mind. And when we start training ourselves consciously, we will program our subconscious mind. The unconscious mind is not so very important. Roshan is asking, "जी, आपका age क्या लगता है?" अभी तो मैं जवान हूँ दिल से. Well, I will complete 61 years this year.
Oh, sir.
Now,
Great.
I started yoga when I was 19 years old and undergraduate. I was in my final year BCom exam.
Okay.
Chaya ji, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Can I?
Yeah.
Sir, at lastly, you say what is a good way of life? So balance of optimum health, peace of mind, then building close relationship, and so many things you listed out. Uh, is it possible to have all the points? Then that means we are asking for all laddus.
Of
I
course.
want this also. I want that also. That also. So
Of course.
how can we achieve this, sir?
Another lecture.
Sure, sir. Sure. Sir, but one line,
Yoga,
one
yoga,
catchy line,
yoga,
can we?
yoga,
Yoga. Yeah.
yoga. Actually, yoga is a complete system.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can say this from my own life experience that whatever I have been able to achieve, had it not been for yoga, I wouldn't have been able to achieve.
Sir, I do agree with this. Same. This is my statement, sir.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, sir.
राहुल जी आपका भी हाथ ऊपर है, क्या बात है?
Yes, sir. Sir, I just wanted to know, like, I have read in some of the articles, like, subconscious mind is not always active,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So whenever like there is a problem, so our subconscious mind become active and it start working on that. Is it like that?
Yeah. So let's put it like this. The subconscious mind is working all the time. The subconscious mind never sleeps. The conscious mind goes to sleep. But training the subconscious mind can happen only consciously by consciously doing things. Yeah. And the easiest thing to train the subconscious mind is to start concentrating on whatever we do. Yeah, concentration is by itself a power of the human mind. I think in the chat box किसी ने कोई सवाल पूछ रहे हैं. सर आप सर आप पे ट्रेनिंग
Peace
देते
of
हैं?
mind.
Okay. Yeah, so I do train, but I these days don't train so much as I do coaching, and that also in the corporate world of CEOs and CXOs, वगैरह. So that is answering Roshan Gupta's question, yeah, which was a direct message to me.
Okay. Sir,
Okay.
can I ask something from students' point of view?
Please.
Can you just guide to have 3 actions for the students which can help them to have success?
3 actions to
3
get
actions, or
success.
you can add more also, sir, of course. So what students should do to reach to success?
Yeah. Number 1, ask yourself throughout the day as often as you can, what is the most important use of my time right now? And then do that. Number 1, ask yourself this question: what is the most important use of my time right now? What is the most important thing I need to do right now? Yeah, and do that. Yeah. Now, number 2, every night before you go to bed, ask, what was one new thing I learned today? And if we did not learn any new thing today, decide that you will learn something new. In fact, a better thing would be, don't go to bed before you do a little, let's say, read a book, maybe 1 page of a book, or on one particular topic or subject, do a little bit of internet research and find out what 1 or 2 websites are saying, and then do that action. So one action is, ask yourself this question: what is the most important use of my time right now? What is the one most important thing I can do? And then do that. Number 2, at night before going to bed, what was one new thing I learned today? And commit yourself to learning one new thing every day. And the third, the next day, revise what you learned the previous day. Yeah. Incidentally, this is also part of a study formula that is called the SQ3R technique, where S means survey. क्या मुझे पढ़ाई करना है? Q means create a question before you start studying. Then read. 3R, SQ 3R. The first is then you read, you study that what you have to read. After you have read, after half an hour, recite whatever you have read. Yeah. What are the three most important things I have learned? Recite them. Yeah, and the last R is review. So survey before you start your study session. Survey how much am I going to study in the next half an hour? Yeah. Then ask yourself, create some 2 or 3 questions around what you are going to read, what you are going to study. Then study, read, that is. After half an hour of reading or studying, recite. In other words, what have I studied? Make those points, 3 points, 4 points, 5 points. Recite those, say those loudly. And after that, review whatever you have done quickly. Yeah. So you asked me 3, I have given you bonus also from a student's point of view. Yeah. So remember, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तदबीर से पहले खुदा खुद बंदे से पूछे, बता तेरी रजा क्या है. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Very
Over to
nice.
Rahul, sir.
Yeah, very nice, very nice.
Thank
So
you.
hope the students have also enjoyed and get some knowledge and 3 actions by the sir, and definitely they will try to employ that. And now I request, I call upon Devesh to propose vote of thanks. Devesh, you're there?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, he's there.
I hope you all enjoyed this informative session. I'm Devasha Dubey from TYBSC. On the behalf of Department of Statistics, RJ College, wants to give heartfelt vote of thanks to our honorable guest, Mr. Kartik Vyas. This session was much needed for us as we will be transitioning from our student life to work life. I hope your guidance about Yoga Chitta Vriddhi Nirodha, that is, yoga helps to master our mind and unlock our true potential, be with us throughout our life. And as you said, the one who conquers the mind conquers the world, and achieving Ekagra mind with yoga is possible. As you defined, success is actually having a one-pointed mind and having a balanced life. I hope that stays with us throughout our life. And with that, I would like to thank our honorable guest, Mr. Kartik Vyas, on behalf of Department of Statistics, RJ College. Thanks to Director of Hindi Vidya Prachar Samiti, Mr. Dr. Usha Mukundan, for encouraging us at every step. A special mention to our principal, Dr. Himanshu Dowda, for being a constant support to all the activities of our department. I appreciate that this session came to us, and I want to thank all our teachers for that. At last, thanks to all the students for being a part of this session. And once again, I thank you all for your coordination. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Devesh.
Yes, thank you so
Right.
much, sir.
Most welcome. So may I leave?
Yes, I
Thank
think
you
this
so much.
session. Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, sir, for being here with us and
Most welcome.
sharing your knowledge. And that it was really thought-provoking session. I'm sure students must have got much more than what they were expecting from this session. Thank you so much.
Right.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye, bye
Yes.
bye, bye
God
bye,
bless.
everyone.